Everyone hurry up! Say your AR-15s! Buy AK-47s! So we can use the enemy's fucking ammo, man! Ah! Everyone, leave your suburban homes! Head for the mountains! Just kidding. Now, so today, I went to a buddy's gun shop. He owns a place, and another one of my really good friends, he runs it for him. And a lot of times when I have a few hours to burn, I'll just kind of go over there. They're attached to a military surplus store, so you know I'll kind of mill around, go back and forth between the two. What I'm really looking for is to listen to conversations and kind of gauge people's attitudes towards current events and stuff like that. And what folks were talking about today was the whole thing with Russia. So, mind you, I'm not one of those people that sits in their truck wearing their sunglasses and rants into their phone saying that as part of their congregation of 4 freaking people, some high-ranking General Master Chief of the Space Force that's a part of their congregation called them up and said the apocalypse is coming, and all you have to do is look out your window and see BNSF is going by with a whole bunch of tanks on the railroad. Look, I'm going to tell you right now, and I want you to tell your friends too, because I'm sick and tired of seeing these stupid freaking videos. The U.S. military is extremely cheap. You know what else is cheap? Sending things by rail. That's why when you look at your window, you see BNSF has also got trailers that have FedEx and UPS on them. Because it's cheap. It's cheaper to send it via rail, actually hitch that trailer up to a semi, and drive it over the road. Okay? U.S. military sends stuff over rail all the time. Because it's cheap. Does not mean Jade Helm. Stop sending me those videos. Anyway, I'm not one of those people that sits there and says, this is what's going to happen. But I will give you my opinion about what it will look like if war ever pops off between the United States and the former Soviet Union. You know, eventually, someday I'll probably get a tattoo that says Cold War born. I was born in West Germany during the end of the Cold War. My parents were in the U.S. military. They were stationed over there. My dad was over there when the Berlin Wall came down. But you know, we've been talking about going to war with Russia, or then the Soviet Union, for decades. We're coming up on a full century. So, you know, there's all kinds of films, like Red Dawn, for example, where, you know, a bunch of kids run up to the mountains, they capture enemy AK-47s, and they bring the fight to them. And that's all well and good. That makes for a good movie. But really, the former Soviet Union does not wage war the way that the U.S. military wages war. And they haven't ever waged war the way that the U.S. military wages war. And the U.S. military uses the World War II model. We are in the 21st century. World War II ended in 1945 because we dropped 2 atom bombs on Japan, ceasing that conflict. But the U.S. has never moved on from that. The U.S. fights a war by going in via blitzkrieg and seizing an entire country. And if you want to blow your nose after we seize it, you got to ask our permission. That's not what Russia does. What Russia will all likely do if they invade Ukraine is nothing at first. They are a defensive country, okay? They are not preemptive like the U.S. military is, like NATO is, for example. What they will do is nothing. But it's my understanding that Russia, China, and Iran are in some kind of defensive pact, if you will. And whoever aggresses towards one of them aggresses towards all 3. I think Syria, other such countries are part of this pact. It's kind of a modern Warsaw Pact, if you will, but it's not, because Warsaw Pact were puppet countries, and the countries that are in this current pact are not puppets of each other. Anyway, we all know we get pretty much 100% of everything we use from China. And a lot of folks sit there and say, oh, well, I survived the apocalypse of 2020. It was a soft apocalypse, blah, blah, blah. Well, that's true, because you sat at the house, pulled out your phone that the government was paying you to sit at the house and pull out your phone with. You watch Netflix. You watched it on TV. Whenever you were hungry, you would order it on your phone. If you needed to get stuff from Walmart, you'd order it on your phone. You'd get in your car, you'd drive to Walmart, you'd sit in the pickup lane, you'd pop your rear hatch, they'd put the shit inside. You wouldn't even have to talk to them. They'd shut the rear hatch and you'd drive off. We'll tell you what, if China stops sending us ships, there is no more Walmart. It doesn't exist. Okay? What I recommend if you want to survive this style of conflict is stock up on cheap shit. Stock up on food, consumables, stock up on hardware, stock up on steel. If you work in anywhere near the steel industry, stock up on it, boy, because a lot of that comes from China. A lot of it comes from Mexico, too. But a lot of it comes from China. Our fuel prices are going to go through the freaking roof, okay? Not because Russia or China send us any fuel, but what the European Union gets from Russia will be shut off because of sanctions. Their fuel prices will go through the freaking roof. And us, being allies of NATO, will start selling us our fuel supply, which means our fuel prices will skyrocket. Okay, so my recommendation there is to try to slow your reliance on fuel as much as you can. Okay, I know that'll suck. You can't drive your big gas guzzling truck all over tarnation everywhere. You can, but it's going to cost you substantially to do that. It's going to suck not being able to go to Walmart and buy 30 packs of Coors Light for $20. Can't do that anymore. Sorry. But the thing about this is, if you know anything about the U.S. military, if you know anything about Russia, is that our wars are sustained. They're not fast. And, it may take it becoming commonplace in this country once again for families to start keeping pigs in the backyard, even though you're in the middle of the city. Start keeping chickens in the backyard, even though you're in the middle of the city. Even though, it may violate HOA guidelines. That may be something that HOA is just going to have to get over. Okay, you're going to have to start carpooling more. You're going to have to start not just wearing a shirt for a few weeks, getting tired of it, and throwing it in the trash or sending it to Goodwill. You're going to have to get used to wearing the same clothes for several years, because you can't just go out and buy more. Oh, what, Red? I buy only the finest Italian suits. Okay, good for you. But the vast majority of us, our shirts say made in China. Our underwear say made in China. Okay? So, the former Soviet Union, they're probably not going to send troops here. Excuse me. Probably not going to send troops here to the mainland United States. Like they said back in World War II, you can't invade mainland United States or be a man with a rifle behind every blade of grass. It's true. Or there'll be a 400-pound Bubba trying to get his budget AR to work, one of the two. But, he may do, I say he, Vladimir Putin, but Russia may do things like send troops to hold major key ports in the United States, specifically Valdez, Alaska. Okay, Valdez is the end of the crude oil pipeline from Purdue Bay. I'm not going to tell you necessarily how much crude oil comes out every year because I don't know off the top of my head, but a substantial amount of crude oil that feeds our industry here in the United States exits the pipeline at Valdez. And it's be very simple for Putin to put boots down there, at least temporarily, stop that. And our fuel prices go even higher. Okay? And this country runs by its roads. If we can't ship, this society crumbles. Okay? The saying is, we're only 9 meals away from anarchy. Okay? Most folks do not have food stockpiles. They don't. Most folks go eat fast food pretty much every single day. And I've been guilty of that sometimes. But most folks are extremely reliant on fossil fuels. Not saying that's terrible. In peacetime, that's no big deal. But in a war with Russia, especially if China is a part of that, it doesn't even have to be open war, just a conflict. Doesn't even have to have open hostilities, just sanctions between each other. This country will hurt bad. I hope everyone that watches this video is ready for that. I recommend stockpiling whatever you can. Food, ammunition. If y'all have Russian style weapons that shoot 7.62 by 39, 7.62 by 54R, 5.45, 9mm Makarov, stockpile it now. Because if we go to war or conflict with Russia, 40% of our ammunition supply in this country which will drive ammo prices way up. And all those calibers I just listed basically won't exist. You won't find them. They won't be here for years. For those of y'all that are saying, oh, get rid of your AR-15s and buy AK-47s so we can use the enemy's ammunition. What enemy's ammunition? It's not going to be here. Are you going to get rid of your family's ability to protect itself during societal collapse, societal struggle, whatever, by getting rid of your AR-15 that shoots a NATO common military caliber that police use, that military use, that's not going anywhere? It's here to stay. You're going to get rid of that to buy an AK, and you're not going to be able to buy ammunition for it. No. I'm sure most of y'all probably did not enjoy this video. I sure didn't. But I feel like I do need to kind of grab y'all by the shoulder sometimes and shake you just a little bit. Bring you back to reality. Subscribe if you haven't. Questions, concerns, ridicule, drop them in the comments. Have a great day.